Okay, Nick Rodway and his crew have been drilling up at up in BC, up northwest BC on the sulfide city porphyry area primarily right now. This is a porphyry skarn area, and they had some nice visuals in some of the holes. Okay, let's go to the next slide. In particular, they had a little over 11 meters of continuous sulfide in one particular hole. So 11.8 meters in hole 61 of what says massive sulfide exoskarn. What's exoskarn? Well, when you get an intrusion comes up, it's very hot around the contact of the intrusion, and it cooks up the rock that's immediately adjacent to it. Exoskarn is the rock that's cooked up immediately adjacent to an intrusion. Okay, why is it important? Well, because sometimes those intrusions can turn out to also be porphyries, which host a lot of mineralization as well. But in this case, what they're highlighting is the CRD mineralization, or the sulfide mineralization that accompanies that skarn. Go to the next slide. And it's located, where's the next slide? Uh-oh, stuck again. There it is. There we go. All right. You can see they've outlined it in, whaleback is what they call that, the 11.8 meters. It's kind of right there in the core, in the center of the slide. But they're starting to see good sign that the sulfides trend northward, and they are trying to show in this image that there's a lot of chargeability starting to evolve in the geophysics. So basically a big bunch of chargeability features to the north. And I think they're starting to take the view that the porphyry is hiding up there too. Okay, so this is probably going to be a great result, when they get the assays back. But I would also expect to see, as they drill more to the north, I'd expect to see more and more exciting stuff out of the company over the next few weeks. Go to the next slide. Here's a photo of the skarn with the sulfide. Look, it takes a geologist to love this kind of rock, but when you see a lot of dark greens, those are the skarn minerals, the minerals that form when the rock gets cooked up. And then the black stuff is basically sphalerite, which is zinc, and there's probably galena in there as well. Really nice, juicy looking rock. All right, go to the next slide. Okay, sorry. I thought I had one more slide. I think I reduced it a little bit. Okay, Altamira had some news this week. A few weeks ago, they had a guy named Richard Silito go to the field and work with them to tell them what he thinks their systems are, the things that they've been drilling recently. He looked at Maria Bonita and concluded that it is a porphyry. You can see the rocky image down at the bottom, nice sheeted quartz veins. Richards is Mr. Porphyry. He's the smartest porphyry geologist we know or we have in the mining industry. And whatever he says is pretty much you can take as gold. I mean, it's truly, he's the wisest sage out there. Okay. The company did announce a few more results from Maria Bonita. These are just the remaining holes. There were several intervals of a few tens of meters of kind of half gram or 0.x gram stuff. Interesting, but the next part of the news release, this new target they discovered at Apiakis, really caught my attention. I think the company is kind of taking the blinders off, and they're starting to think about there being multiple porphyries on their properties in this region. Go to the next slide. Okay, so they've been drilling at Cajuero, which is up in the upper left there. Cajuero is where Maria Bonita is, but they also have done prospecting back over at Apiakis in light of what Dick Silitos told them about the potential for more porphyries here. Okay, I think they went back and they said, you know what, we saw some interesting rocks. Maybe we should have another look at those rocks and determine if we missed something here. Okay, so they went back to Apiakis. Go to the next slide, and they did some sampling in an area about 10 kilometers from Matum. Recall, they drilled a few holes at Matum, hit some low grade, wasn't ore, but there's still a lot of gold kicking around there. But they went over to this Casa Branca target, 10 kilometers to the east, and it was because they had found these rocks, these porphyry texture. Porphyry is an intrusive rock that has bigger crystals and a finer ground mass. So they found porphyry samples like this. But then they started rock chip sampling some of this and came up with some pretty impressive numbers. Look at the chart on the right-hand side. These are individual rock samples. Okay, they're spot samples. But they found some bonanza grades up there, like a 69 grammer, a 52 grammer, amidst a lot of other stuff that's running, 0.x to multiple gram type grades in and around this porphyry that you see in the middle bottom. That's interesting. Okay, so they have a brand new target. They're starting to do some work there. I think Michael said they're going to have some geophysics or something they're going to do, but this could rapidly evolve into a new drill target. Okay, go to the next slide. We're getting there. Sorry, guys. We're almost done. Juggernaut announced an update of drilling at Bingo. This is not Midas. This is Bingo. So this is the one that's further to the north. It's kind of up in the vicinity of Goliath and Sherbet. It's to the west of Goliath. Very similar geology, though. Okay, they've seen some really nice intercepts in all of the drill holes they've completed to date. And in particular, they've seen sulfides, like you see in the photographs here, which indicate probably pretty high temperature and intrusive related mineralization like we see over at Sherbet. So cobaltite, say, oh, big deal, what the heck is that? It's a mineral that contains cobalt. Think of it like cobalt-bearing pyrite. And cobaltite is almost a dead ringer for a very close tie with an intrusion. Okay, so this is starting to look and smell a bit like a Sherbet type discovery. Stay tuned. We'll see what the assays come back. Go to the next slide. I think there's one more company. Yes, Maronan. Maronan had some news out this week. They've been drilling in the area. Don't forget, these guys are well advanced. Okay, they have a deposit here that should become a mine. It's on track to become a mine, but they want to focus on this area. They call them the starter zone. In fact, it's this shallow. I think they call it the shallow silver zone specifically. And they had some really nice infill holes here recently, including this one here, 23 meters of 310 grams silver equivalent. It's like 10-ounce silver equivalent. 23 meters, true width of which might be about 70% of that length. You can mine in bulk. Okay, that's excellent stuff. You can see where it is on the map here. They got a lot more holes to come, but it did include the highest grade intercept they've had to date on the property.